We fought the internal saboteur. We mastered the math of 1.01. And yesterday we achieved escape velocity, enduring the fierce, dark drag of the gravitational pull of average. We found the necessary solitude to defend the 100% mark. But listen close. The champion understands that solitude and raw discipline are not enough. A rocket needs fuel. Yes, but more importantly, a rocket needs an airtight guidance system. You can't run a 30-year mission on willpower alone. Willpower is temporary, emotional, and prone to fatigue. It's a sprint mechanism, but you are not running a sprint. You are building a legacy. You are constructing a dynasty. Today, day 23, we stop fighting for compliance and start designing for inevitability. We are moving from the messy, emotional battlefield to the clean, clinical precision of the architect's table. We are creating the lit execution blueprint, the structural 100% protocol designed for absolute sustained success. The goal is to build a system so robust, so frictionless, that the 100% choice becomes the easiest, most natural, most unavoidable choice you can possibly make. The goal is to put your destiny on autopilot so that even when your emotions are compromised, even when the external pressures hit, the system itself simply continues its perfect rotation. The human element is the weakest link, so we must engineer a protocol that minimizes the demand on the weak link. We are not looking for discipline. We are looking for structural integrity. Listen to me. The system must be stronger than your deepest fatigue. The entire structure of the elite execution blueprint rests on the principle of zero friction execution. Think about friction. It's the force that opposes motion. It makes the engine work harder. It causes wear and tear in your life. Friction is the moment of decision, the agonizing sliver of time where you have to choose between the 100% protocol and the 0.99 compromise. Should I go to the gym or hit snooze? Should I work on the high leverage task or check the notification? The average person lives in a constant state of high friction, perpetually debating, negotiating, and losing the small battles. The champion knows that to achieve sustained success, you must eliminate the debate. You must design your environment and your schedule so that the protocol simply flows. The elimination of this internal friction is architecture tier 1, the proximity power protocol. What you allow to be close to you dictates the quality of your output. We're talking about physical, digital, and relational proximity. Physically, is your gym bag next to the door, or is it buried in the back of the closet? Is your deep work environment clean and sterile, or is it cluttered with the debris of past compromises? The 3 seconds it takes to find your work materials is friction. The 5 minutes it takes to clean your desk is friction. And that tiny friction is the Trojan horse of average. It's enough space for the 0.99 thought to sneak in and issue a veto. You must preload your environment. Put the water bottle next to the bed. Lay the workout clothes out the night before. Open the document you need to work on before you shut down your computer. You are setting a trap for your future, weaker self. And you are making the activation energy for the 100% task as close to zero as physically possible. Now, digitally, this is the modern warrior's biggest vulnerability. Every device you own is a Trojan horse of instant gratification. It's designed to inject friction into your focus by demanding your attention. The zero friction environment means that during your protected void of deep work, every potential digital distraction must be placed into a state of temporary digital exile. Notifications off, phone out of the room, internet access disabled for non-essential tasks. The moment you have to think about checking social media, you have lost. The protocol must be automated when the deep work timer starts. The digital exile is instantly enforced. No debate, no negotiation. This is how you eliminate the decision that every decision you make throughout the day, from what to wear, to what to eat, to what task to tackle, saps the energy required for the high leverage execution. The elite execution blueprint preloads the decisions. You follow the non-negotiable schedule. You eat the predetermined food. You wear the pre-selected clothes. You save your limited decision-making capacity for the core strategic task. You eliminate the trivial 0.99 choices that drag down the overall system performance. Relational proximity. We talked about this with the gravitational pull, but now we solidify the architecture. You must define a social permeability boundary. This boundary is not about being arrogant. It's about being systemically responsible. You only allow those inputs that increase the integrity of your protocol to penetrate the boundary during active execution phases. You don't take advice from the broke person, you don't take health tips from the sick person, and you don't take scheduling advice from the uncommitted person. Your system is sacred, and you are the chief security officer. You are the final authority on what gets access to your core engine. If a person or an activity introduces friction, compromise, or doubt into the 100% mark, they are assigned to the legacy tier or placed into exile. The purity of the input determines the quality of the compound curve. You must ruthlessly defend the integrity of the input. Architecture tier 2 is the process loop. Ritualization over motivation. Motivation is a great starter fluid, but it burns out fast. Ritualization is the perpetual motion engine, a sequence of actions that once initiated is almost impossible to stop because it feels unnatural not to complete the sequence. Think about your morning. The average person wakes up, debates, compromises, and reacts to the urgent. The champion has a non-negotiable morning sequence, a ritual so ingrained that your body and mind execute it on autopilot. The ritual is the bridge between the lazy version of you and the champion version of you. It's the 3 minutes of movement, the glass of water, the specific music that cues your brain for deep work, whatever it is. It must be sacred and immutable. The ritual eliminates the need for motivation because it taps into the brain's demand for pattern completion. Once step 1 is executed, the brain automatically craves step 2 and step 3. You have hijacked the brain's instinct for habit and redirected it towards elite execution. Within this process loop, we introduce the concept of the minimal viable effort, MVE. The hardest part of the 100% protocol is always initiation. The average person sets the initiation bar too high. I must do a 2-hour workout, or I must write 2,000 words. The champion sets the MVE ridiculously low. I must put my shoes on, or I must write one single sentence. The MVE is the 0-point ignition. Its only purpose is to defeat the friction of initiation. Once the system is running, once the shoes are on, once the sentence is written, the momentum takes over and the 100% compliance becomes exponentially easier. You trick your weaker self into compliance by only demanding the minimum effort to start the engine. And once the engine is running, the champion takes the controls and executes the protocol. You are no longer debating whether to work. You are only debating the quality of the execution once the engine is already roaring. This is also the tier where we establish the deep work anchor. The champion understands that not all work is created equal. 80% of your exponential returns come from 20% of your tasks. These are the high leverage tasks that move your personal curve vertically. The deep work anchor is the non-negotiable block of time, usually the first 90 minus 120 minutes of your day, dedicated solely and completely to the highest leverage task. This time is shielded, protected, and treated as sovereign territory. Nothing violates the anchor. Not an urgent email, not a phone call, not the desire for a second cup of coffee. If you execute the deep work anchor flawlessly, even if the rest of your day falls apart, your 1.01 factor is secured. The integrity of the system is preserved because the single most important action was executed at 100%. You are front-loading your success. You are guaranteeing the compound return before the world has a chance to introduce chaos. This structural guarantee is the core of the elite execution blueprint. Architecture tier 3 is the feedback and diagnostic system. Failure as data. The average person views failure or non-compliance as a moral failing, a reason to quit, feel shame, or abandon the protocol altogether. That emotional reaction is the single greatest threat to sustained success. The champion views non-compliance not as a moral failing, but as a system diagnostic. It is simply data input If you failed to execute the protocol yesterday, you do not beat yourself up. You run the error correction protocol, ECP. The ECP asks 3 cold clinical questions. 1, where did the friction occur? Identify the point of failure, the morning ritual, the scheduling, the environment. 2, why did the friction occur? Identify the root cause, lack of preparation, digital exile failure, relational intrusion. 3, how must the protocol be adjusted to make this failure impossible next time? System optimization, add a new shield, adjust the schedule, eliminate the input. You treat your failures like a master engineer treats a malfunctioning engine. You don't scream at the engine. You diagnose the fault and engineer a more robust solution. This detachment is critical. It removes the emotional vulnerability that the gravitational pull of average feeds on. You don't let a 0.99 day become a 0.5 week because of shame or regret. You collect the data, you adjust the protocol, and you return to 100% compliance on the very next repetition. The goal is not to be perfect. Perfection is a destructive myth. The goal is to have a perfect error correction protocol. The ability to absorb the hit, learn the lesson, and return to execution faster than anyone else. That is sustained success. That is the true 100% mark. And this ECP is formalized in the integrity audit. Every night before you preload your environment for the next day, you run a quick audit. Was the protocol executed at 100% today? Yes or no? If no, where exactly did the failure occur? This is not a time for self-pity. It is a time for unflinching clinical accountability. This audit reinforces the veto-proof identity. It makes the protocol the final word. If you can look at the data and honestly say, I hit my deep work anchor, I maintained the protected void, and my proximity protocol was flawless, then your architecture of trust is reinforced. And that trust in your own system is the single most powerful foundation for sustained exponential growth. You're building an internal system that simply cannot be compromised. This elite execution blueprint is the key to achieving the perpetual motion engine. The average person needs constant external motivation and internal willpower to start and maintain motion. They are constantly wrestling with their own resistance. The champion, having built the zero friction environment and ritualized the process, achieves a state of unconscious execution where the system is running itself. This is the flow state that lasts for months, even years. You are no longer spending energy deciding to work. You are only spending energy doing the work. That surplus of cognitive capital is what gives you the edge. That's where true innovation and sustained excellence reside. You move beyond mere discipline. You achieve system sovereignty. You become the silent monolith, the unmovable force that we spoke of yesterday. The gravitational pull of average can try to tug, but the structural integrity of your 100% blueprint is too great. It is a non-negotiable, self-correcting machine. The destiny you calculated on day 21 is now protected by the architecture you built on day 23. You have moved from hope to certainty, from fighting to flowing, from discipline to design. The legacy is not built by chance. It is built by blueprint. The system is the champion, and you are the architect. The system is airtight. The identity is forged. The ships are ashes. The momentum is unavoidable. You have created a future that is not merely possible, but logically certain. The emotional brain has been stripped of its power, and the protocol reigns supreme. There is no ambiguity left in the universe for you. Your only remaining task is the next perfect repetition. Your future self has decreed it. Your current self must comply. Now look at the task, the highest leverage task that needs to be executed in this very moment, the one that requires the perfect input. The system demands it. Execute the protocol, design the blueprint. Let's go.